looking me in my face telling me, yo, don't worry about it, bro. I got you. And I never see him again.
Jay-Z and DeHaven came up from the bottom together. Same block, same grind, same dangers. DeHaven took shots for him, kept his name clean, and sat 13 years behind bars without ever folding. But when he came home, the loyalty he expected was nowhere to be found. No call, no support, nothing but silence from the man he once protected.
Like the way I would look at it, if you could compare him to like a character now, I'd say he's like the Penguin. He's like ruthless.
And now Jay-Z's own people are speaking out, calling him ruthless, cold, and worse. What they claim happened behind the scenes is shaking the entire culture. Let's get into it. The inner circle speaks. Some of Jay's closest former allies are finally breaking their silence, and what they're revealing is hitting the music world like an earthquake. Starting with a man who was there from day one, Damon Dash. If you know Rockefeller Records, you know Dame wasn't just a business partner. He was the engine, the drive, the fire that pushed everything forward. He was the one yelling, "We run New York," while Jay delivered the verses. Along with Kareem Biggs Burke, they built an empire where no label would give Jay a chance, pressing their own records, selling CDs from car trunks, hustling into rooms nobody wanted them in. They created a lifestyle brand before anyone even used that word. Reasonable Doubt, the blueprint, Rocawear, the films, the parties, the culture. Dame and Jay were inseparable, two halves of one movement. And then, according to Dame, Jay-Z took everything and left him with lawsuits and memories. In a recent interview with Cam Capone News, Dame didn't hold back. When asked about Jay today, he made it clear this isn't about old beef. It's about what he calls active, ongoing sabotage.
Honestly, unless he's fucking my money up, I don't give a f what Jay's doing, to be honest. But when he's fucking with my money, that's when I be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already walked away from the block. Leave me the fuck alone.
And Dame didn't stop there. He described in detail how Jay-Z allegedly blocked his business deal for years. Not once, not twice, repeatedly, systematically. Every time Dame was close to a major win. According to him, when Rocawear was being sold for around $400 million, Dame was supposed to walk away with $40 million, life-changing money. But right before Tommy Hilfiger signed the papers, Jay-Z allegedly announced publicly that he no longer stood with Rocawear, and the entire deal collapsed instantly.
We were selling Rockwear, right, for like $400 million or whatever. I was gonna make $40 million. And right before Tommy Hilfiger signs the papers, he makes an announcement saying that he's not fucking with Rockwear, that he's only fucking with S. Carter. The whole shit up. And I just feel like he did that only because I was gonna make $40 million. Like, he just couldn't see, like, they get so mad if I'm gonna make money off them. Like, every time I could have made a really big check, he's always stepped in and intentionally.
Think about that. Dame isn't saying Jay-Z was just disloyal. He's accusing him of actively watching his every move and stepping in only to shut it down. That's not neglect. That's warfare. That's someone who allegedly refuses to let a former partner shine, even decades later. But the most shocking moment came when Dame was asked to describe Jay's character. No hesitation. No softening. He compared Jay-Z to one of pop culture's coldest villains.
The way I would look at it, if you could compare him to like a character now, I'd say he's like the Penguin. He's like ruthless like that with his friends or people that help.
The Penguin. Let that sit. That's not just an insult. That's a profile. The Penguin is calculated, patient, polished in public, ruthless in private. A man who smiles in your face while working against you in the shadows. And according to Dame, that's who Sean Carter becomes when the cameras stop rolling. But Dame isn't the only voice speaking out. Enter Gene Deal, former bodyguard to Diddy and the late Notorious B.I.G. He wasn't in Jay-Z's camp, but he was close enough to see everything up close. He was in the rooms, at the events, behind the velvet ropes. And what is shared on camera has the internet questioning everything they thought they knew about Jay-Z's inner circle. In a series of explosive interviews on the art of dialogue, Gene described Jay-Z and Diddy's relationship in ways that go far beyond business. According to him, the two weren't just associates. They were inseparable in ways that made even insiders raise eyebrows.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z.
Gene went even further, calling out strange patterns between Jay-Z and Diddy, including how they check in on each other's romantic partners and even date women who looked almost identical at the same time, as if their personal lives were synced like their business moves.
But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of close.
But Gene's revelations didn't stop at personal behavior. He also described a moment where he nearly fought Jay-Z himself. While in Cancun, a disagreement over nightclub entry nearly turned violent when Gene felt disrespected by how Jay's team handled his people. According to Gene, he was ready to knock Jay's head off and only backed down to avoid getting a woman from his neighborhood fired. Respect for Jay wasn't part of the equation. But the comment that broke the internet came when Gene was asked whether Jay-Z could be next amid Diddy's legal issues. His answer went viral instantly.
You could tell that the people in power had gave that ring to Diddy and Jay was next in line. So to separate him when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low-key, that low-key sneaky shit, and Diddy is, and was rambunctious, just out with it, it don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quieter with his shit.
Two of the same, one just a little quieter with his __. Those words spread everywhere. Think pieces, reactions, memes, hashtags. And when you combine Gene's statements with Dame's long-standing claims, a pattern begins to form. A man who allegedly moves ruthlessly behind the scenes while maintaining a spotless, billion-dollar public image. But this isn't the end. Not even close. Because next comes the people Jay-Z allegedly used as influence to silence. Starting with a legendary athlete whose career ended for justice, and Jay-Z's role in what happened, the power to blackball. In 2019, Jay-Z made a decision that changed how millions viewed him. He partnered with the NFL, the same league accused of blackballing Colin Kaepernick for kneeling against police brutality. And according to Kaepernick's partner, Nessa Diab, what Jay did wasn't disappointing. It was betrayal. At the press conference, Jay-Z said the infamous words, "I think we've moved past kneeling." For many, it felt like he dismissed Kaepernick's sacrifice, a man who gave up his career for justice, and Jay-Z publicly signaled it was time to move on. But Nissa claims the private conversations were even worse. In 2025, she accused Jay-Z and Rock Nation of running smear campaigns against Kaepernick, pushing narratives that he wanted too much money or didn't want to play, all allegedly untrue. She said one thing that changed the entire conversation.
And the worst part about during that time were the smear campaigns that were happening behind the scenes to try to discredit Colin publicly, to sway people to think that Colin was okay being blackballed or he was asking for a lot of money to play again. He was never offered a job the minute he protested. Never. Okay? And no. Like I said then, Jay-Z never spoke to Colin before he made that deal with the NFL. No. He only spoke to Colin after he made that deal, and he was okay with the deal and knew exactly what it would do to Colin, and he was okay with it. You know how I know? I was there. I heard the conversation.
I was there. I heard the conversation. Not rumors, not speculation, not secondhand stories. According to her, she was in the room when Jay-Z spoke to Colin after the deal, already knowing what the partnership meant. Reports say the deal was worth around $25 million over 5 years. Critics argue Jay-Z took money to help clean up the NFL's image while the man who made the protest possible remained blackballed. But to understand the emotional core of these accusations, we have to return to DeHaven. DeHaven wasn't a business partner. He wasn't an acquaintance. He was childhood family from age 7. They survived gang territories in the crack era together. And according to DeHaven, he once took 5 bullets protecting Jay-Z during a confrontation in Trenton. But the breaking point came in 1994. DeHaven says he took a murder charge, a case he claims was self-defense, to keep Jay-Z's name clean. He served 13 years in Rahway State Prison. 13 years while Jay-Z rose to global fame. And when he came home in 2007, expecting loyalty, nothing. No help with legal fees. His family had to borrow $35,000. No acknowledgement. No contact. Just silence. And when asked how he labels Jay-Z today, after decades of pain, his words were ice cold.
Look at me in my face, right? During my trial, look at me in my face telling me, yo, don't worry about it, bro. I got you. And I never see him again.
A coward. Cold-hearted. Coming from anyone else, it might sound emotional. Coming from a man who took bullets in 13 years for him, it hits different. But the tragedy didn't stop with them. Their mothers were best friends. Their sisters were best friends. DeHaven's daughter is Jay-Z's goddaughter. Jay's nephew is DeHaven's godson. Two families, once completely connected, now completely silent. And the accusations continue. In 2025, Nicki Minaj accused Jay-Z and Roc Nation of sabotaging her career after she refused management in 2019, claiming block releases, suppressed content, bought attacks, and boosting rivals like Megan Thee Stallion. Then Rita Ora's 2015 lawsuit, alleging Roc Nation abandoned her career while keeping her trapped in a contract until the case was quietly settled. Comedian T.K. Kirkland has long claimed Jay-Z minimized promotion for other Rockefeller artists so nobody could outshine him, pointing to names like Beanie Sigel, Freeway, Memphis Bleak, and Emil. Taken together, the picture looks consistent. A man who allegedly lifts up people who benefit him and quietly crushes anyone who doesn't. But now we reach the final part, the legacy in question. Because no matter what allegations exist, Jay-Z's accomplishments can't be erased. The numbers speak for themselves.
When you young like that and y'all come up like that, then as I'm coming up, it's beginning, that's not my man, that's my little brother. You get what I'm saying? That's my little brother at this point now when we coming up in the hood.
He has 14 Billboard 200 #1 albums. Second only to Taylor Swift among solo artists. He has sold over 140 million records.